The world's full of some terrifying creatures who'd have no trouble making a quick meal out of us humans, but as scary as some animals today may seem, there once existed even bigger, badder, and way more terrifying beasts, from child-eating eagles to colossal carnivorous whales. Here are 20 deadly animals that you'll be glad to know are extinct. Number 20. Arctotherium angustidens. Stumbling across a grizzly bear is enough to make most people flee in fear, but even full-grown grizzlies look as harmless as cubs when compared to the Arctotherium angustidens, more commonly known as the giant short-faced bear. It hailed from South America and lived around 2.5 million years ago. With an average weight close to 2 tons, Arctotherium angustidens takes the title for biggest bear to have ever lived. For some context, polar bears, the largest land carnivore alive today, are less than half the weight of these ancient bears. On top of that, these guys could reach an intimidating 14 feet when stood upright. That's higher than a one-story building. Okay, so they're really tall and really heavy, but that must slow them down, right? Well, considering that the close relative of this bear, the Arctodus simus, a smaller genus within the giant short-faced bear family, could reach a terrifying top speed of 40 miles per hour, and it's likely that these guys would have clocked up a speedy pace too. So, unless you've got wheels and an engine, there wouldn't have been much chance of escaping, and escaping is definitely what you'd want to do. Broken fossilized teeth revealed that this bear chewed on bones, suggesting that flesh was a part of their diet. So, to them, human probably equals a meaty appetizer. Despite their physical prowess, these bears were gradually replaced by the medium-sized Arctotherium vetustum around 500,000 years ago. No one knows how or why such a predatory power disappeared, but it's possible that the increased competition from carnivores like the jaguar, cougar, and dire wolf depleted the big bear's banquet. Either that, or there's an even bigger bear out there that we just haven't discovered yet. Number 19. Haast's eagle. Fortunately, those bulky bears went extinct around 400,000 years before us Homo sapiens first appeared. However, some long-extinct animals once did go toe-to-toe with man, or technically, toe-to-claw, if the large skeletal remains of the carnivorous Haast's eagle are anything to go by. Now these particular remains were found in the South Island of New Zealand. With a wingspan of up to 10 feet, the remains are so large that the bird is now considered to be the biggest eagle ever. The skeleton indicated it would have stood around half the height of an average man, and weighed in at some 40 pounds, 4 times that of a bald eagle. The main prey of these enormous eagles were moa, a flightless bird that was 15 times heavier than their hunter. Moa bone remains show that Haast's eagles killed their prey by flying at them from behind and tackling them with their knife-like 3-inch talons, before gripping and crushing the moa's skull. Anyone else getting a migraine? Disturbingly, it's possible that moa weren't the only meal on the Haast's eagle's menu. Legends from the indigenous Maori people of New Zealand detail huge birds swooping down and plucking up a small child who was never to be seen again. But in the 16th century, just 200 years after the Maori population settled on the South Island, they got their revenge. Human overhunting of the moa likely led to the eagle's eventual extinction, and with that, Maori children could finally rest easy. But before we make you sweat over any more crazy prehistoric creatures, let me talk about something much nicer. Today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, who are celebrating their 4th birthday. Raid is an epic fantasy RPG that's free to play on mobile or PC. With over 650 amazingly unique champions to choose from to build your own distinctive team. As it's Raid's birthday, they have some insane events, including fusion event, bonuses, and anniversary-themed legendary champions. If we had a birthday dinner party, I'd invite my usual battling companions, Tyrell with his high-powered debuffs, Cardiel, who helps you everywhere in the game, Delver, a great nuker in Arena, and Ugo, who can aid your team's survival. Scan my QR code or click the link in the description to get an epic champion Kellen the Shrike and other useful things. Also, new and existing players can enter promo code 4YearsRaid in-game to get your hands on 4 legendary skill tomes, along with other bonuses. Now, get your Raid battle squad together for protection, ready to face some more terrifying ancient animals. Number 18. Josephoartigagia manesi. Yeah, you heard that right. Number 18. Josephoartigagia manesi. So, New York is pretty famous for its massive rats, with some of them reaching the size of small dogs, and honestly, even house cats. But as big as a New York rat can get, their ancient cousins were just on a totally different level. Let me introduce you to the Josephartogasia monesi, who lived way back between 4 to 2 million years ago. This creature is considered to be the largest rodent ever to walk the face of the earth. These South American horrors measured up to 10 feet long and weighed up to a whopping 2,200 pounds. Just for some perspective, that's around the same weight as 12 adult humans. But, you know, size isn't the only thing to watch out for with these mega rats. They also had these absolutely horrifying incisors, reaching almost an entire foot long. Computer modeling techniques based on the Josephartogasia monesi's skull revealed that these rodents had a bite force of 3,600 pounds per square inch, or PSI, which is similar to the bite force of a saltwater crocodile. Thankfully, these colossal rodents weren't carnivorous killers. Scientists believe that Josephartogasia monesi used their incisors for biting nuts and wood, digging in the ground for food, or defending themselves from predators. And with those giant horrors in their mouth, anything that messed with these guys would be sliced up in seconds. Suddenly, New York City's rat problem doesn't seem so bad now. Number 17, Megalania. Number 17, Megalania. About 2.5 million years ago, the dusty plains of Australia were home to some real terrors, but none could compete with the giant monitor lizard, known as Megalania. Looking like a hulked-out version of a Komodo dragon, these prehistoric predators could reach a whopping 23 feet long, making them more than twice the size of their Komodo descendants. And, like Komodo dragons, Megalania are believed to have harbored venomous glands inside their jaw that produced hemotoxin. When it attacked, Megalania's sharp, curved teeth would pierce their prey's skin before the hemotoxin entered the victim's bloodstream. At this point, the venom would act as an anticoagulant, preventing the prey's blood from clotting. This, in turn, would rapidly decrease the prey's blood pressure, causing systemic shock and eventually death. So, what caused the downfall of this supermassive lethal lizard? Researchers from the University of Queensland recently dated a Megalania bone to be around 50,000 years old, which is around the same time that humans first arrived in Australia. It's now believed that humans could have had a hand in the Megalania's extinction. Whether man killed the giant lizards to protect themselves or overhunted their prey isn't known. What I do know, though, is that somehow Australia, the land where just about everything can kill you, could have been even more terrifying. Number 16, Thylacoleo carnifex. Now, Australia's prehistoric horrors don't end with the Megalania. The Thylacoleo carnifex is an extinct marsupial lion that dominated the Australian wilderness between 2 million and 46,000 years ago. Fossil evidence shows this wombat-lion hybrid measured in at around 5 feet long, about 2.5 feet tall, and weighed around 220 pounds. This means that at their largest, they were about the same weight as a modern jaguar, but slightly stockier. However, unlike jaguars, Thylacoleo carnifex weren't equipped with sharp canine teeth. Instead, these monstrous marsupials had 2 pairs of giant incisors that they used to stab and pierce the flesh of their prey. And it was quite the stab. Their bite force was comparable to that of a 500-pound African lion. This is thanks to their enormous jaw muscles, which turned every tooth in their mouth into a weapon. While their incisors were used for piercing the flesh of their prey, their molars were designed to crush their victim's windpipe and sever their spinal cord. If that wasn't bad enough, these menacing marsupials had huge retractable thumb claws, used for disemboweling their kill. This metal hunting method would have helped these marsupial lions to kill large prey in less than a minute, 15 times quicker than an African lion. But, as with the Megalania, their ferocious features couldn't prevent them from falling into extinction, thanks to climate changes, which gradually dried out their habitat and reduced the food supply. Wow, never thought I would be thankful for climate change. Number 15, Gigantopithecus blacki. Did you know Bigfoot is real? Well, sort of. Prehistoric primates, known as Gigantopithecus blacki, that closely resemble Bigfoot, roamed the forest land of southern China roughly 2 million years ago. Exact size estimates are highly speculative because only tooth and jawbones have been discovered, but even these are enough to estimate that they stood around 10 feet tall and weighed up to 1,200 pounds, making them about twice as tall and nearly 3 times as heavy as silverback gorillas. Being located in southern China, it's likely that bamboo was a staple of its diet. Still, I wouldn't mess with these things, considering that even a silverback gorilla is strong enough to pummel a human into mincemeat. The question is, what caused such a big, broad beast to go extinct? Well, because it was so big and broad. The Gigantopithecus blackie relied on chowing down on heaps of food to replenish itself. But, around 100,000 years ago, the changing climate transformed more and more of its forested homeland into savanna-like landscapes, greatly reducing the food supply for these primates. But, who knows? Perhaps a few survived and walk among us to this day. It would certainly explain why your mom looks the way she does. Number 14. Daeodon. Number 14. Daeodon. By and large, pigs nowadays are pretty harmless, but that's not always been the case. If we turn the clocks back 23 million years ago, Daeodon, or dreadful pigs,